Well, hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hey, I've got Dr. TLC here with me, aka Dr. Tamara Colebank. Hey, Dr. Tamara.
Hello.
And we call her Dr. TLC because A, she lets us, and B, her practice is Divine TLC Integrative Vet.com, which we have on the screen for you. And if you're listening to this, it's the word divine, the letters TLC, tender loving care, the word integrative, and the word vet altogether.com. So welcome. And you're in my backyard, which is Denver. Actually, our office is in Denver, and I live over in the Boulder area. So we're still really close to each other. So it's good to meet another local, great holistic vet.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for
You
having
can
me.
you can never have too many great holistic vets in your world. Ever, ever, ever.
Right.
Yep. So tell me your journey to, you went to a pretty traditional, amazing vet school, right? You here to Colorado State, right? Oh, you froze on me. Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am happy to be here with a local Colorado vet, local to me, Dr. TLC. We like to call her Dr. TLC. She also goes by Dr. Tamara Colebank. How are you, Dr. Tamara?
Doing well. Thank you.
Good. She's coming to you from her vet house call van. Literally, she's in her van. And we're in between appointments. So thank you for taking some time with us today.
Yeah, of course. This is exciting.
So I guess first and foremost, you come from a really, really great vet school. So you got your veterinary medical degree from Colorado State.
Hmm.
And like a lot of the people who live here, when they have like really serious issues, like especially knee surgeries and torn, ligaments and all the crazy stuff, they go to Colorado State. So how did you go from that kind of a vet school, which is pretty traditional? It's not a bad thing, but to the very holistic work that you now do?
Yeah. Um, I've always been interested in holistic medicine. So when I was in my third year of vet school, I started going to the Chi Institute, which
Ah,
is a Chinese medicine institute in Florida. And
yeah.
so I did a bunch of studies like during vet school. And then I didn't get my certification until I was like actually a vet. I also did like some other energy healings like in between where you didn't necessarily have to be a vet to do it. And
Yeah.
kind of it just evolved from there.
Okay. Very good. So was it like, what was the impetus though? Like, was it just curiosity? Was it a health concern in your life or a family member or a pet?
The holistic side or
Yeah.
yeah. Um yes, it started with me. I did a cleanse through my yoga studio and I only did clean eating and basically yoga for like 2 weeks straight. And I felt so different. Like I just felt like a lighter and more energy, happier. It wasn't as bloated. And yeah, just evolved from there. And then I also, was always volunteering at regular conventional vet practices. And it just like it didn't feel right. So it just kind of stimulated holistic for animals.
That's great. Well, I mean, most of the people who we see going the holistic route do it out of necessity. They sometimes it's horrible situation in their lives. You probably hear about this all the time,
Yes.
and it's only those things that rock us into learning more and expanding our options, our
Right.
medical options. So it didn't sound like it was anything that serious for you, which is great.
Yeah. It's cool that I've been able to do it, like start doing it.
Yeah, you're really, and a lot of people go to the Chi Institute in Florida. Like a lot of the vets I interview there, a lot of them go there. So it must be an amazing school.
It's good. Yeah. They do a lot of Chinese medicine, like in so many ways, and they're super helpful and it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. So one of the key areas I think that'd be super valuable that I like to talk to you about is energy medicine and working with animals on that level. And then I would like to talk to you a little bit about nutrition. So we'll get a little bit into that, and specifically like fiber and the use of fiber and plants in the diet of our dogs. So shall we go for it?
Yes.
All right. So first and foremost, energy medicine. So first and foremost, my take on this is dogs are the most amazing, animal, like, well, animals are, with their natural connection into, that's why we love them, I think, I intuitively feel that they're energetically connected. And it's like the thing that we wish we were more of.
Right.
And we want that. So how is it how do you use that intuitive nature, the intuitive nature of the animal to be energetically connected? How is it you're using it for health or wellness? Hey there, this is Rob Ryan. I just want to say how much we enjoy making this content for you here. And if you are enjoying it, would you like our video down below? And would you subscribe to our YouTube channel? It sure does help us get discovered by more people like you who need information like this. And also down below in our description, the top link is to our trial pack. We hope you'll order one for your dog so your dog can have fermented superfoods that give them nutrition like they can't find anywhere else. Hard to get nutrients that are easily absorbed. Thank you very much. Now back to the show.
Yeah. So animals are extremely spiritual creatures. They are so intelligent. Like, they know the human language too, by the way.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, so I use like specific energy techniques, in addition to just like feeling out their entire like being, like the whole thing that they're giving off. In terms of like how I treat them with the energy, I do different modalities. So like theta energy healing or animal normalization therapy, which is using energy work, which is essentially just tuning into another sensory perception that we all have, and just like feeling their tissue and feeling it change. Focusing on like where they're most restricted isn't necessarily where they're most painful, because also like their physical musculoskeletal system always represents what's going on in the body. Yeah. So like if their organs are off, they're going to be tight in their butt. They might actually outwardly be like limping and lame, and that could be a physical like strain in the muscle or something. But there's also fluids underneath there, like lymphatic fluids, blood vessels, nerves that are angry and inflamed, and that's what I'm focusing on, like restoring. And it's a restorative like energy. It's like they all have patterns of movement, and so if they're not moving, they're abnormal. And it's usually something that you pick up before anything major is happening, even though you can pick it up when they're like clinically like obviously abnormal, and it's obvious to see that. Yeah.
I like the expression, the body tells the story.
Yes.
And I also resonated when you were talking, just thinking about how I can tell from the sound of my dog, for sure looking at him, but I can just tell from the sound, the way he shakes, that he needs a chiropractic adjustment.
Yes.
You're immediately like, okay, look, I'm not a chiropractor. There is like tons of what's that word where lack of movement, lack of
restriction.
Thank you. There's restriction, and I can even hear if it's the neck or the back end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like, I've just paid attention, and I've developed this thing that is, I mean, if somebody's listening, they're like, oh my gosh, theta, what are you talking about? Or like normalization, what? Like energy healing, what are you talking about? This is not hard stuff. This is just a matter of like focusing and paying attention, having intention.
Exactly.
And, yeah, because these dogs they're an open book. Like, well,
Mhm.
animals, they're an open book. And if you're just paying attention, you'll see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's important what you said, because it's amazing that you can pick that up on your dog, because that is how you notice things before they become big things.
Yeah.
And it's like, if all you have to do is pay attention and like watch for tiny things, like instead of in conventional medicine where you're focusing on huge things, like the small things are what need to be addressed.
And the small things early are cheaper, less painful, cheaper to treat, less painful, and also like usually way more options. The longer you wait, it's like the more narrow your options, and sometimes those options are like horrifyingly toxic or serious surgery or something. So it's always good to get, it early. I read it a long time ago in a book. What do you think of this, Dr. Colebank or Dr. TLC? I read in a book, like it's better to stay out of the penalty box in terms of like being the penalty box being like you're moving towards a state of disease or illness of some sort, unwellness, let's put it that way. And once you get in that penalty box, it's harder and harder to get out the longer you stay in it. That's just how I think of things. It's a very simple method. Nothing, I don't have a PhD in anything. It's just a simple way of thinking about things.
Yes.
So you have a van. I'm just curious, as a side note, you have this van here, but you do house calls. Do you find, did you get this van thinking you were going to use it more, but you end up finding out that the dogs prefer to be treated in their own homes?
No. Well, I do house calls. I primarily go in the house. I only use the van if I'm meeting someone who's like too far away, and we'll meet like closer, and I see him in the van.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's great.
So I did that today.
Oh, right on. So people that are like far and rural, you'll meet them halfway or something. Okay, cool. Let's put up your website. So your website's Divine TLC, the letters TLC, integrative vet, VET.com, for those who are listening, not watching this show. And so you do it exclusively house call or van call practice, right?
Correct.
Cool. If I was a vet, that's how I would do it.
It's the best.
It is the best. Yeah. And you just get to, the advantage you have over all the vets, all of them, is you get to see exactly what this animal is doing in their environment.
Mm-hmm.
So give us a couple examples of like why that's so beneficial.
One, I guess, that comes to mind is like how people feed or what they're feeding. Yeah. Like they'll say one thing, but like when you actually get to look at like how it's being done, you can maybe recommend different ways to like behaviorally help them, or like I can watch them, like, how do you make the food? Like, show me. And then it's like nothing like they said. So I can just give more guidance. Also, I can see like their more natural state of being. Like, when you bring them to the vet, they're like on edge. Like, you're not really getting to know who they are, but they're in their environment, and it's like you can see like, how many stairs are they going up? Like, do they go outside? Where's their like food bowl? How many people are in the house? Those kind of things.
You can also see like these toxic things that are in their house, like plug-in air fresheners and all that junk that are horrifying. True. And so you can make some, recommendations. Yeah, no plug-in air fresheners, folks. Like, no good. So let's go back to normalization therapy. So can you give us a couple examples that you like? Just think about some really good examples of clients and what you've been able to do for them, or I don't know, any story you have about, that process with that particular client. Animal client.
Yeah. Like, I've had some crazy things because we're like super stiff doggy, and then like do a treatment and they're like running around like crazy, like immediately after. Or like itchy animals, just like not being itchy anymore, or anxious dogs just like back to the normal self. It's like instantaneous, but it like gets better and better every day, and it makes their body function. And over time, they're like doing so good, and they're just like wondering why they're seeing me at all.
Wow. So the normalization therapy, that is you're physically on hands on their body, and you're tuning into something. That's kind of the diagnosis part. Okay. And then what is the treatment part?
So basically I'll give a rundown of how it goes.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry, I have to plug my computer in right now. But, so I'll watch them walk. I'll feel like their body to see where they're the tightest, okay, which is not necessarily where they're the most painful. And I'm focusing on their stress level,
okay,
their lymphatic system, their vascular system, their nervous system, and then a system called gluten, which is like toxins, allergies, like things that get stuck in like the body and make it sluggish.
Congestion.
So that's what I'm, and then I see like, okay, are they tightest on a particular side of the body, or like, or is it opposite sides of the body? Mm. And then whichever one it is will depend on which treatment happens. And so let's say, which most animals are, they're either stuck in a stress mode or they're stuck in lymphatic stagnation. So stress mode, they're going to have stuff on either side of their body. Lymph, they're going to be like all lefty, like everything's happening on the left. Maybe it's tightness. Maybe that's where all their growths are. Maybe that's the leg that hurts them. So I'll take the organ of interest of that like drains the lymph in this case, which is the adrenal glands, which is for stress.
Okay.
And I'll tune into the spleen, which is for lymph, or the adrenals for stress, and with one hand. And then I'll use the other hand and go through every single part of the body and see if it is having an issue. And if it is, I'll hold it until it basically starts functioning again.
Okay. Wow.
And then like the tissue will be loose, like the leg will be normal again, like their eyes will be brighter. Like it's really obvious. It's cool.
Wow. You just said eyes would be brighter. I'm a huge believer of like eyes, brightness, mouth, color, tongue, all that. What does eye brightness tell you?
Just like how they're like, if they're feeling better or not. I mean, there's dull eyes. You can just look at animals' eyes and like automatically see how they're feeling. Yeah.
No, they could tell you everything from their eyes. When I sad note, but it's important. I'm not trying to be a downer. When I actually put my first black lab to sleep, he lived to 16. He had an amazing life, but I didn't know when to let him go. He's my first dog. I just had no experience with it. And I could tell, I just didn't know enough. Like I brought him to my vet, who I trust a lot. And I just could tell in his eyes, he was trying to check out, you could just tell.
Yeah.
And I asked my vet and he said, yeah, I think he's trying to die. So I was like, great. That's all I need to know. Let's go for it. Let's move forward. But I just never forget the look in his eyes. Like they were just gone, it's just amazing. And then today, my lab Gus, my black lab Gus, like I look at his eyes tell me like if he's tired. And I'm not talking about the around the eyes. I'm talking about his actual pupils, his eyeballs,
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny how you could just, they're ready to go. You could tell they're feeling great, optimistic, uninterested, disinterested. You could tell all that stuff. And I'm again, not the skin around the eyes, the actual eyeballs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And healthy, or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think there was a lady I was watching on Instagram. She was doing these hold therapies. Was that normalization, do you think? Just like this real gentle holding, like touching and holding?
Or was that T-touch?
It might have been T-touch too. Yeah, but how similar are they?
They're different.
They're different. Okay. So but they may look the same to the naked eye, but they're not.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you were to watch me, it doesn't look overly exciting.
Yeah, no,
Until
no.
after.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's funny. All good holistic vet medicine doesn't look that exciting, but it's like gets this result. It's like, you just think like there'd be something miraculous that happens, but like, I guess the way I don't think my dog's ever done normalization therapy, but I would probably liken what you do to when I take my dog to the chiropractor and like the mobilization, the energies, like it's like an explosion. It like pops, like the bubbles bursted, and then all of a sudden like things are different. You're like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Just unlocked.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good way to say it. Like unlocked. You unlocked something. So this lymphatic stagnation. Go deeper into that for people, and let's use some layman terms. So, a long time ago when I learned about, like I started with holistic vet like almost 25 years ago, and I started learning about Chinese medicine terms and damp and heat and all, dry and then stagnation. Like my vet explained it to me like viscosity, thickness, like oil. There's viscosities of oil and thickness and congestion and all these words. So break it down for people who don't know what that means and why it's interesting and important.
Yeah. So, and what you're referring to there is like more dampness, which is like dampness is the number one issue for sure. So there's millions and millions of lymphatic vessels in the body.
Yeah.
And they connect to all the lymph nodes in the body. So those lymph nodes will get big, like when they have cancer, they're going to get a big lymph node. And those are, the immune system essentially, and like removal of toxins. That's like the pathway around the body.
Yeah.
And it's all over the place. It all has a similar pattern. Like it moves with the vessels, it moves with the nerves. It follows the anatomy. But it goes everywhere because every single cell needs to get rid of waste product and be checked by the immune system.
Yep.
So if it gets overwhelmed or like, and that would be inflammation, or like they hit their arm, or they get scar tissue there from surgery or something like that, that creates like, basically it's like a road, like that road is now blocked, and it's starting to go other ways, which just causes congestion, of cars like on the road.
It's like a traffic jam. It's like
a traffic jam, in the body, and it's like a tiny little thing in the body causes craziness on the other side of the body. Like everything needs to be working at all times. So it's just like those vessels need to be cleared, essentially.
Yeah. Wow. So no, there's no surprise there. All things need to be flowing, the way they should be, the way they were intended. And when you have one impingement or disruption or whatever it is you want to call it, we use an analogy of a road closure. If it's small, it might take longer to recognize that disruption in a form of disease or illness. But if it's big, it might show up in a big way, like maybe could be a cancer, So not to say that it will be, but could be. So lymphatic. So could it be like even just lack of exercise and movement and with a bad diet?
Yes. I feel like the number one issue is diet and lack of it's diet, lack of exercise, and stress, because animals have stress. They take on their human stress.
Yeah.
If they don't move enough, like honestly, some of the most healthiest animals are the ones who are like athletes.
Yeah.
And that eat like variety of food, fresh food, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. My lab, he does, I do high intensity interval, and so does he. And I think it's like just really hard. Like everything in life is like dosage matters. the amount of food, the amount of herbs that you take, all of those have like minimally viable dosing. And I feel like, tell me what you think, doctor, like people are just doing too little dose of exercise and a lot of it at too little intensity. So it kind of it barely, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it barely matters. Do you think that's a true statement?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's part of it, for sure.
Yeah. And nobody ever wants to admit, like, nobody ever wants to say, like, you should be intensely exercising at times. Don't go crazy. Nobody's telling you to hurt yourself, but like doing cross training and different movements and, and running up hills and all this stuff, like you need it. Like we're all moving towards a state of death.
Yeah.
And if you're not fighting against it, it's a tug of war that we're playing every single day. And our dogs are doing this. Our animals are doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's like it's like even like scientifically proven with like the fascia and everything. It's like if you don't move within like 48 to 72 hours, the fascia is already getting inflamed and sticky and not working. So
yeah, that's another thing I remember is early on 25 years ago with the vets is like sticky, gummy. She would say gummy tissue and ligament, cartilage, all that stuff. What is that called? The muscle fascia, all that stuff. It can actually, and it's the first time I ever heard that. I was like, what are you talking about? Gummy, sticky. And it's like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you feel it. Like if you feel like the most common area is the butt.
Hips. And the butt. Yeah.
Yeah. The butt, the hips, all that is so commonly just so tight, but like, that's not normal. It should be loosey goosey and not painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The glutes are like the most necessary big muscle group that we need to get up and just sit and do normal things. And they're also the most, I think, underworked in humans anyway. Okay. So anyway, so back to exercise. So what would you say, this obviously is different for a Chihuahua than a Labrador or something, but how do you advise on exercise?
Well, regular exercise.
And what
daily would be ideal. Let them run around and like, they have to run around and be crazy. Like you don't have to take them on walks, even though that would be amazing too. But like, they have to be able to like completely run and like be crazy and jump up and like when you get diseases, like they have disc disease or they have tendon and ligament repairs and they're not moving, they're actually not healing. Like you kind of have to move them. They got to move themselves. I feel like it's most helpful rather than like making them move on a walk, which is like boring and not as much movement as like running and jumping up on things.
Oh, it's also the thing you said about they have to be crazy. The zoomies and the when they wiggle they on their back and they wiggle in the grass or in snow, all of those movements, the twisting of every disc in the spine, like they lubricate. The way I see it is pretty simple. I have no idea if this has any scientific basis, but I'm going to say it. It's like it sends a message to the body, which is all knowing, all intelligent. It sends a message to the body that I need to use this disc. I need to use this joint. And so keep your eye on it, keep it healthy, summon resources to it so it stays healthy. But if you don't move it, it just sort of like goes dormant. Mm-hmm. Is that fair?
Yes, everything needs to move. Like when you get stiffness, and that's the thing is like when anything is stiff in any way or it seems tight, it's gonna get a problem. Like for sure. Yeah.
It's also, this whole thing is so interesting. We're just going down this path. It's also in the human world. The trainers I've worked out with are called Z Health. They focus on the dormant. Over your age, certain muscles, if you're not using them, they'll go dormant. So that's not good.
No.
No good. No bueno. So the same thing has to happen over 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 years of a dog's life. If they're just like walking from the kitchen to the bedroom or in a little backyard and they're not really expressing themselves in their true nature and their full spectrum of excitement and movement, like, you know, their hamstrings are going to go to nothing. And then so when they really need them and they're, you know, maybe a little bit cognitively impaired, it's no wonder their back hind end is sinking down because it has like nothing to work with.
Right. Yeah. It has no muscle mass at all. Yeah.
No muscle. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
even when they're old, they don't need to be like these stiff old, you know, grannies. They should be still moving and like fairly well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm just a huge proponent of like, there's no rule. Don't make, it's not a prescription. It's just get them out to do a variety of things. Like have them swim a little bit, have them rock on unstable surfaces, have them, you know, jump and be silly and, you know, wiggle on their backs and all that stuff. It's not complicated, but do it enough. Like, how do you think about intensity? Do you prescribe that for people? Like, and I don't mean like intensity being that hard. I'm just talking about enough, like heart rate and stuff like that. Do you ever talk to clients about that?
No, but I should. I'm going to do this more.
I mean, I don't know what what do you even say? Do you say, I mean, like, I guess there's probably some devices where it's measuring a dog's heart rate, but I don't even think that's necessary. I mean, I think you just want to get your dog, like, even if you said like you have 5 minutes a day, your dog has to be breathing at like its hardest level.
Yeah, they should be tired at the end of the day because they worked, not because they've been doing nothing.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's the measurement. Is it just like, I'm out, I'm sleeping, I'm done. Yeah. Of course, the ones who don't get any exercise, they're like that all the time. Like they're
more tired.
They're always tired, you know?
Exactly.
And so, yeah, that's no good either. It's funny. I constantly joke because I'll have my friends over or family, and my dogs have always been like this. Like they're really high energy, and they're just Labradors. You know, they're not like the most high energy dogs, but they're high energy enough. But my dogs, after like an hour of high intensity training and running and stuff, they're still around. And I'll say to my family, I'll say, I need to start feeding. I'll say this a lot with Gus. I'll say, I need to start feeding him cereal only diets so he calms down, because like he gets great food and then he gets great exercise, and it's just he's just bright and brilliant. But it's always like, people are always like, oh my gosh, like he's like an athlete. He's like a racehorse all the time.
That's good. That's great.
I know. I'm only joking about cereal, folks. That would be a big no-no, but does make me laugh. Every time I say it, it makes me laugh. Yeah. If I just feed him cocoa, Frosted Flakes or something. But my point is that, you know, if you can do that for your animal, you do it at a higher level, your animal has the most vibrance. And, you know, my whole goal is he lives a high quality, high vibration, long life. Like you can't just have a long life like that's horrible. You know, he has to have like, you know, feeling good. That's the way I want to be too. I don't want to be like, the last thing I want to live is to 120 and feel like crap. Like it's just no interest to me. You know, I'd much rather take 85 feeling great and like, bye, you know, peace out. All right. So let's talk about, what do you think about in terms of food, diets? What do you think about fiber and getting more fiber in the diet, and what types of fiber can we talk about? Because when people hear fiber, they think like psyllium or something, or yeah. What do you think about that in terms of fibers?
I think it is so important. Like, there are so many animals out there that have inflammatory bowel disease, and I think the number one cause is because they're not having enough fiber, but mainly like whole food fiber, like vegetables and fruits and nuts. I feel like there's a stigma out there that animals don't absorb those nutrients or something like that, but I actually think that their entire system works better. They don't get inflammatory bowel disease. If you don't get inflammatory bowel disease, then you don't get many diseases at all.
Yeah. Or even before that, leaky gut or another one of the, IBD, IBS, those nasties.
Right.
Yeah. Why is there a stigma though? I don't understand that.
Are you asking me what the stigma is, or why do people have that?
Why? Why is
because
that?
I feel like they think that animals, like dogs, cats, they should eat like an appropriate diet, like a diet that they would eat out in the wild. So they never think that they would eat vegetables or fruits and nuts, but these are domesticated creatures. They eat on a regular basis. They need more vitamins and minerals. Like, that way you don't have to give them a jillion supplements.
Yeah. Well, so I work with a lot of people know this, but I'll just say for people who don't know, I work with the guy for biologically appropriate raw food, Dr. Ian Billinghurst. And even he recommends things like nuts.
True. I saw that.
And vegetables. And so I would say, you're probably pretty right. Like, I don't see most dogs getting a hold of a Brazil nut.
Yeah.
But think about it, like, we're smart and we get to optimize and make things easier, better, right?
Exactly.
So would you rather get selenium from a sterile laboratory that makes a synthetic version of it or a powdered version of it from a lab? Or would you rather get it from one Brazil nut? Like, It's not that hard to figure that one out. Yeah. And then the other thing too is I don't think dogs need a lot of vegetables. That's not what I think. And they do need fiber. And there's a huge raging debate still, which I don't even know, like, whatever. If you want to have a debate in your head, you can. But the whole prey diet is based on just meat. And what it lacks is the prey diet folks definitely believe that, dogs catch animals and they eat prey. Okay. But in that prey is the gut contents of that animal. So if it's a lizard, it's like nothing, small gut. If it's a rabbit, a little bit bigger. And if it's a bigger animal, then it's bigger. But that's usually fermented. It's in a gut, usually. It's fermented things, grasses, plants, all various things. And it's not as if we're going to go, like, our company doesn't ferment the exact things that a rabbit eats or that a lizard eats or that you're not doing that. What you're doing is you're optimizing the opportunity to ferment plants that give you this amazing nutrient profile. So that's all you're doing when you feed vegetables. So I at our company, we get this question a lot. So I'm going to bring this up. So we get this, like, can we replace vegetables with Gussys gut? And we say, you can on some days when you find yourself without vegetables. Like, I've been there. All right. I have Gussys gut. I have no vegetables. And I'm not going to the grocery store just so I can get vegetables for my dog. So I'll give him that. Not a problem. Like 1 or 2 days, not a problem. But my dog always has a pureed. I put it in a Vitamix. I puree it within an inch of its life. And I put it in an oxygen. I pump it, oxygen out of it. And it goes in the refrigerator. And it's just a veggie mix. Today, by the way, all I had was celery and Brussels sprouts. And I add water to it. That's it. That's what's in it. Some days it's 3-4 vegetables. Some days it's herbs, cilantro or parsley and stuff. But I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. I just make sure there's fiber in the diet.
Right. And variety. That's right.
And variety. Always, 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 always variety. Variety of meat, variety of everything.
Uh-huh.
So, but you got to flush. We live in a crazy world full of toxins. Our dogs are everywhere. Their paws that they lick are on the roads that our cars drive on, and that ain't good. So, and I don't wash my dog's paws every time that I hose him off, but I'm not taking soap and water and wash him off. So what I want a system that cleans itself. I want a healthy liver, healthy kidney, and I want to garbage in, garbage out as fast as I can. Mm-hmm. So ABC, always be, ABCD, always be constantly detoxing. That's what I say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Trademark. No, but always be constantly detoxing. If you're doing that gently, easy, and you're not doing some big, hard detox, your dog's going to be so much healthier throughout its life, and you're not going to store those toxins in fatty tissues. Mm-hmm. True?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where the body work comes in too, is like that helps you detox too. Like not only nutrition and fiber, but like body work and happiness and movement and love. Those all help.
Yeah. So do you do acupuncture?
Yes.
And did you do chiro?
Yes. That was the newest edition.
That's the newest edition. Yeah. So you've got the whole suite of you've got the normalization, theta, chiro, acupuncture, and do you do things like electrostim acupuncture and all that cool stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and herbs and supplements and
of course.
Ozone. Yeah.
Oh, ozone. That's good stuff. Yeah. Do you use lasers and lights and photon energy and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. So, all right. So, wow, I feel like in my head was just a thought of this could be another hour. So don't worry, folks. We'll do another show. We're not going to keep this going for over an hour or anything. But what I want to ask right now is tell us about your practice and if anybody's in the Denver, tell us where you accept clients, what that area is, and how they can, what is your process for bringing a new client on? Because all great vets, in my opinion, they've got a threshold of person that they will accept, the willing, the people that are willing to do the things that they are giving, because they have limited time, mm-hmm. and they want to give that time to people who will participate in their pet's health. So tell us about that process, if you will.
Yeah. So I'm based in Morrison. So I go all the way to Arvada, to Aurora, Parker, Castle Pines, Conifer. That's kind of like the general area in Denver. Okay, great. And yeah, they have to be wanting mostly holistic or natural remedies or treatments. The initial consult's an hour and a half because it takes so much information. It's usually not even enough time. But yeah, they have to be into natural things. And then we'll go over everything that they're dealing with, how to help them now and in the future. And then I always, regardless, if they don't want it, then I'm not a good fit. But I always do a treatment on them. So usually the animal normalization therapy, or it can be acupuncture or chiropractic or laser. Because I love helping animals. I don't want to just be examining them and then on their way. I love helping them feel better.
Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm. It's really funny. I've heard enough online. If a person wants to feed a raw food diet, there are some vets that are more traditional and they are completely opposed to it for some reason, which is a whole other conversation we won't go into. But they will literally drop that client.
Right. It's weird.
Yeah. But so I don't agree with, so I have to examine my beliefs because I don't agree with that. But if I was a natural, holistic, integrative, whatever type of label I wanted to give myself, that's like what you do, I would probably not work with a client that didn't feed raw, or at least half raw. Because so it's funny, I have to examine that belief because I'm for it on one end and I'm not for it on another end. So like I kind of think that I need to be more fair about that.
Yeah.
But I just can't see being natural, holistic, you coming to me and not taking care of this foundational element, because I almost feel like there's not that much without that foundation. I'm swimming upstream.
It can be like some people can't afford raw, for instance, or some people just think it's absolutely nasty. So won't do it. So I can work with it, and I think they do okay. Do I think that they would be better if they had more fresh foods? Yeah. And not everyone is good with raw food. Like not every patient can handle it because maybe they have eaten kibble most of their life and
Sure.
their gut's super unhealthy. But it's better when they have fresh foods. Like they're going to be better for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what, like for people who are feeding kibble their whole life and they won't touch raw, whatever, what little things do you do to give the dog a little boost that the person will do? What are some of your cheats?
Well, first I'll tell them that they're feeding their animal McDonald's every day. So that's usually like they kind of get that. And then just adding any type of fresh food toppers. Like I'll just be like, what you're eating for dinner, go ahead and give it to them. Don't just give them chicken. Don't just give them yogurt and cheese. That's not a whole balanced diet. Like they need a protein, a vegetable, and a carb. That would be good. Good
Wow.
start.
Interesting. And so when you say carb, you don't mean a high glycemic carb.
No, like a vegetable carb usually.
Oh yeah. Okay. I just wanted to call that out because you said the C word, carb. That's a very dangerous when you think of like carbs or kibble and stuff. And I knew you didn't mean that. Or a low glycemic fruit, like a berry or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your favorite foods to give that do like have the most value to, in your opinion, to health?
I love fruit. I'm like obsessed because it's like every time they get the eye discharge, you give them sour foods like or apple cider vinegar. It just sucks it up and they're gone. I also like beans a lot, avocado, mixed greens, broccoli. They just have so like they're all like beneficial in their own way. I just like variety, change.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Aren't you sick of people wondering if avocados are safe for dogs to eat?
Yeah.
And garlic too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, folks, the jury's, out. It's gone. Like court is out of session. You just don't give a ton of anything to your dog, number one. But number two, it's like, who feeds their dog? Like the pits in the skin are the bad things. Like who's giving that to their dogs? Like,
yeah.
And then like, you're not giving a ton of garlic every single day unless you're, I don't know, like a crazy Italian. I could say that because I'm Italian. But like, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to give a bulb a day to my dog. Like, no, that whole thing of garlic, like one little baby thing could be really good. And it's a prebiotic.
Yes.
Right.
This is true.
Yeah. Do you like garlic?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I think that's great. So Divine TLC Integrative Vet.com is your URL. And you could just call her Dr. TLC, which I'd love. And you will answer to that, right?
Mm-hmm. That's also my initials.
Oh, that's
because
right.
my middle name is Lynn.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, isn't that nice? It fits you. So I really appreciate your time and love what you're doing here in Colorado for our animals. And And I'll leave people with your website. Go if you're in the area. Please come and see her, or have her come see you, I should say. Or you can meet her halfway if you're in the mountains somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I would certainly do that. And well, thanks for being with us. We'll have to do another session and talk more about food and nutrition and therapies.
For sure. That would be great.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hope you have a great day, and come back and subscribe, like, and comment on the video here below if you liked it. Have a great day, everybody.